Well, when we launched the BCB in 2014, the intention was always to have a Dubai presence and then latterly very quickly an Abu Dhabi presence. That didn't happen as we planned. We became very busy and engaged in Dubai, so sort of for positive reasons. But having established the incubator in Dubai and had 28 companies through the doors here, we've obviously learned quite a lot on what works and what doesn't work. So we've got the IP and the experience now to apply to an Abu Dhabi offer. And we've also found a very capable and very good quality partner in Abu Dhabi to allow us to develop and to deploy the incubator down there. So we've got round to it a little late, but we're in good shape doing so. Having had 3 years learning about how to do it best. I mean, in terms of what the difference is, anyone who's been here will know that they're only about an hour apart. From the Dubai Marina end of town down to the Yas Island end of Abu Dhabi is even less. It's probably 45 minutes. And often companies will manage in the UAE with one trade license in one location or the other, and that's fine. A lot of businesses work that way. Abu Dhabi is obviously, undoubtedly, the centre of the energy industry in the UAE. The oil and gas sector is very much based there. The ADNOC companies, the national oil and gas companies of the Emirate of Abu Dhabi are there. And if you're wanting to deal with them pretty much from any perspective, whether you're selling in sort of high-tech equipment, paper clips or training and consultancy, you need to have an Abu Dhabi license in order to be able to pass through their procurement sort of portal. Similarly, from a defence GHQ perspective, that's all based in Abu Dhabi. So there's a lot of big industries plus the big state developers or quasi-governmental developers there, the likes of Aldar and TDIC. If you're wanting to deal with them, you need to be in Abu Dhabi as well, and a Dubai presence won't really cut it once you're getting to procurement and getting into contractual things. I think you do see certain industry clusters and supply chains building up in different Emirates. So Abu Dhabi, like I said, is energy, is infrastructure, is aerospace, is a big aerospace hub developing around the Strata, the Mubadala ventures in Al Ain. Dubai, you've got more of the sort of the creative and tech and service industries. Both are developing financial sectors and from the sort of a dual approach there around DISC in Dubai and ADGM in Abu Dhabi. Both are also developing an industrial sector, and there is a UAE industrial policy around sort of more specialist value add or high tech manufacturing rather than low value, high volume. And in Abu Dhabi, that's sort of founded around the Kizad zone, the Kizad area, which borders onto Dubai, and on the Dubai side, that's probably based around Dubai in DIP around Jebel Ali, which also borders onto Abu Dhabi. So around the sort of that centre of the country, if you like, you've got a burgeoning industrial zone that perhaps spans two sectors, but is where you're seeing a lot of business moving in, international business moving in and setting up in either emirate. Well, if you're interested in Abu Dhabi, it's getting in touch with us in exactly the same way as you would if you're interested in Dubai or trade services or anything else that we do. Send me an email, get in touch to our website or info@bcbuae.com. We'll field the inquiry, we'll get in touch with you, we'll get to know you better, understand what you're wanting or what your questions or your interest is. If we then all agreed that Abu Dhabi is right for you and that you do want to progress, at that point we'd probably introduce you to our partners in Abu Dhabi to take things forward and to sort of make a plan for you to come on board and progress accordingly. But that's effectively an internal thing for us to manage. So really is the message is, if you're interested in setting up in Abu Dhabi with the BCB, or you're interested in setting up in Abu Dhabi in general, come to us through the normal BCB channels and we'll make a plan and manage it internally so you're properly looked after. Well, this year Ramadan starts at the end of May and goes through to the end of June. And it's the first time I've been here for 9 years. And it's the first time in my 9 years here that Ramadan really hasn't spanned and gone into the summer months. So whereas a year or 2 years ago you had Ramadan into July and a bit before that into August, which was, bang aligned with the summer slowdown and the summer getaway, summer holiday, school holiday. This year it's very much in the business year. Schools don't break up until the end of June. So I don't actually expect there to be a big Ramadan slowdown this year, and I don't think there can be. I think there's still a lot of business to be done. Whilst you do hear people saying that they're looking to clear their desks for Ramadan and get things ready, I actually think it would be a very good time for British companies to visit, because typically, your local principals, your local partners will be present, because it's time to be here with family and things. So coming in and visiting during Ramadan, as long as you're aware of some of the rules and the things that go on at that time, I think is a good time to do it. For British companies who are sort of corresponding with the UAE and the Gulf, I think you've got to remember there with a 3-hour time difference. A lot of companies here will, by law, all companies finish 2 or 3 hours earlier. So companies will be closing. People will be going home 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's what lunchtime, 11, 12 in the UK. So it means you probably need to pull your communication plans forward a few hours and talk to the UAE and speak to your partners here earlier in the morning, first thing when you're in, because if you're leaving it till later in the day until after lunch, the chances are people will have gone home, and it's not also at that sort of time of when Ramadan's on. It's not the sort of time to be calling people late in the afternoon or early in the evening, because that's when iftar happens, and that's the time when people are observing the cultures and the traditions of Ramadan and don't want to be bothered by business.